Hey guys, Vazzy back here, and today it is time for episode 10 of our Tampa Bay Lightning franchise mode here in NHL 24. And in today's episode, I have decided we are just going to do the first 41 games of the season. I think we should be pretty set. Our team overall looks pretty solid. Again, you never know with this EA Sports simulation engine, we could completely fall off the rails, but with that being said, let's get into it here. Take a quick look at the team before we start, and then we will get into simulating the first half of the 2025-26 NHL season. But yeah, more or less, there's not a ton of change here with the roster. A lot of the stuff is very similar to last year on how we have it laid out, with the Hagel, Point, Kucherov, Groshev, Cirelli, and Stamkos line. Kovalenko is a new addition, young Russian player we ended up signing. Dylan Duke. Morella is someone I am looking to move, I will say that right now. There's a lot of guys in the A that are kind of pushing for that spot, so wouldn't mind doing that. And same with Perbix, I really want to get Thompson in there. Fortunately, having him scratched right now is not ideal, but is what it is. We will see what happens here early on in our season. So with it being game number 1, let's jump into this game here against the Pittsburgh Penguins. First period, 3-2 Penguins. Malkin, Crosby, Vaakanainen, Stamkos, and Kucherov. 5-5, Kovalenko, Stamkos, Sergachev, Crosby, Malkin. And Malkin does win it for the Penguins here. So we do lose our home opener here, unfortunately. Is what it is. It's one game at a time. Let's see what we can do against the Canucks. So we beat them 8-1. It's a big statement win there. Up next here against the New Jersey Devils. Beat them by a score of 5-2. Lost to the Canadiens 3-2. But overall, it's not the worst start in the world. 7-5 loss, not ideal. Canucks again, they do get revenge. They do beat us 6-0 this time. Against the 1-5 Kraken, we beat them 5-2. So sitting right around 500 here. Let's swap out the goalies. Put Allenfelt in here, give Vassy a bit of a rest. But Cooch sitting at 10 points in 7 games, you like to see that. We will switch the goalies again here quick, and then I want to take a quick look at the standings at that 9-game mark for the rookies and all of that, and just kind of see where we're sitting overall. So we'll go through this game against the Canadiens, which we do win by a score of 4-1. So looking at some of the stats very early on here. Kucherov, Stamkos, Point, Hagel, all ripping it up. Kovalenko, 7 points in 9 games, you like to see it. Is a -5, not ideal. Dylan Duke. Overall, it's not horrible. You want to see a little bit more out of those depth guys, but is what it is. Savard and Hedman. Holy smokes, -7, -8. We have to do something there. And I do think I'm going to make a quick trade here, Mozzarella, so I will be back here in 1 second. So like I said, I think it is time to move on from Morella at this point. He's been a great player for us. He's put up multiple, almost 50-point seasons, but he has capped out at that medium top 9. He's probably not going to get any better, and we have guys in the AHL that have a better potential and all that, so I want to see if I can get a second-round pick here from the Wild. Samford's just there for the roster spot. They do say yes. Let me edit the rosters here quick. So after that trade, this is what the lines are kind of looking like. Top 6 stayed the same, more or less. Only change I really had was switching Paul and Finley, and bringing up Lucas Edmonds. This is a young prospect Tampa has had in their system. High top 9, he's 24 years old, so we really have to get him going now if we want to make him a player. I think he'd be similar to Groshev, so see what happens. And also I wanted to say I switched Savard and Hedman, and put Thompson in for Perbix. Just needed to shake up the defense. It really hasn't been getting the job done overall, so it is what it is. Let's jump into some more simulation here and go up against, I believe it's the Philadelphia Flyers we left off on. It is. So let's jump in against them. See a couple of these guys' first games, at least first game of the season here for Thompson and all that. And first game for Edmonds, see if he can get a goal in his NHL debut. So first period here. We do lead 2-1 Stamkos, Point, Verana for them. 3-2 now, Nikita Kucherov and Matvei Michkov for the Flyers. 4-2 there, Sergachev, Stamkos. So we've kind of been stuck on a little bit of an early season just kind of drop off. Just haven't started as hot as we probably would have wanted to. So a game like this against Philly, after making a couple line changes, coming out, scoring some goals, and then Michkov adds one. Thompson adds another, but definitely does help the morale of the team as we do take this one 6-3. So there's 10 games in, we are 6-4. I don't mind that overall. Sitting middle of the division, it's not too bad. Up against the Sharks, beat them as well. One thing I have noticed, it's a little concerning, we're allowing a lot of goals. Even in games that we win, we're letting in, see there's another 7 goals against. But we're letting in a lot of 4+ goals in wins or losses, so that makes the offense have to really score a lot more. And it's just, I'm not sure if it's a goaltending issue or if it's more of a defense issue. So, something to keep our eye on. There's another 4 goals against. Let Ellenfeld take a couple of games here. Maybe Vazzy's tired, I don't know. 7-3 loss, see. That's the point I'm trying to make here. We're allowing way too many goals. And I'm not 100% sure why. Especially compared to other seasons where that really hasn't been an issue at all, so definitely a bit of a concerning trend here. But we will march on and just keep an eye on it for sure. Up against the Jets, we do beat in overtime 2-1. Up against the Jackets here, we lose to them 2-1, so sitting below 500 here at 9-11, that's not a great place to be. Ideally, definitely want to see the team in a little bit better of a situation here, especially as we thought we'd kind of be on cruise control. Doesn't look like that's going to be the case, maybe. Looking at some of these stats here, some of the new guys, how are they doing? Obviously the top line's still doing great. Kovalenko down to a -12. We might have to do something about that. Dylan Duke's doing alright. Paul Finley hasn't done much. Edmonds hasn't done much either. It's not a great sign. Defensively, Thompson's looked good. Savard has just fallen off a cliff. -13 in 20 games. So I think we're just going to have to bench him for now. He's unplayable right now. And goaltending-wise, yeah, those numbers are not very good. So I think we need to make a couple of changes here before we resume simulation. Team just hasn't got it done. Let's put Hagel on the second line. Let's put Emmons on the top line. He has that good fit. Who knows? Maybe playing him with those great players, maybe we can spark him a little bit, but I don't know. And then, Savard, he has to come out. He's been horrible. Get Perbix back in there. Thompson still, yeah, he's looked really good. It's hard to say. I don't know. I think we may be putting Corey Perry over Kovalenko just right now. We can't have that -12. That's through 20 games. That's horrible. So get the veteran and Corey Perry back in there, and let's get simulating again here. As we do win our first game after making some changes before losing to the Flames, but it's a very small sample size here. Let's put Vassy back in. But yeah, you really feel like this team should be doing a lot better, especially compared to other seasons where we've definitely had a lot more chemistry. I don't know. As Jack Thompson goes down, that's not great, so I guess that means Savard will have to go back in. Definitely bury him on the third line. I don't really care what the chemistry says here. Hopefully it's not for too long. 3-1 loss to the Wild, 10-13-0. So we shut out the Jets. It's AHL. But yeah, we really need to go on a little bit of a streak here as we lose 6-0 to Boston. Jack Thompson's ready, just throw him back in. We cannot have Savard in there for any longer than we have to. He's definitely a guy I think closer to the deadline we'll have to move if we can get anything for him. If not, maybe even just throw him on waivers. He has not been very good here this season. So we beat Dallas 5-3, followed by 7-5 loss to Arizona. We're allowing so many goals. Maybe we need to switch and make a coaching change. I'm not too sure. Another 7 goals against to the Capitals. beat the Wings 5-2 as we sit 13 and 17. This is not a good spot. Let's take a look at some stats here before we get back into it. Forward wise, Stamkos, Kucherov, Point, they're all looking alright. Cirelli, you know, nothing's jumping out at me and being horrible. Edmonds, I think we need to send him back down. He's not ready. Jack Finley hasn't scored in 20 games. That's not good either. And defensively, other than Savard, who's been scratched, we've actually been looking pretty good. Goaltending numbers are absolutely horrific. Hopefully those can come back down to earth a little bit anyway. But yeah, it's definitely not ideal. Let's just make a couple of roster changes. Edmonds has to go down. I'm sure we have other people in the minors that we can definitely call up, take his spot, and maybe he'll simulate a little better. I don't know. It's hard to say right now. But honestly, let's maybe try Kovalenko on the top line. Maybe him and Kucherov can have some chemistry together, two Russians. I don't hate that. They're getting a +3. Obviously, he's been a minus. He's been scratched for a while, so maybe coming back to the lineup will be what we needed for him, but get Edmonds back in the AHL quick. And I guess let's continue with it. Let's jump into this game against Philly. Why not? Second time seeing Philadelphia this season. As we beat them the first time, we are up by a score of 3-1 early. Zucker with a couple, still have the 3-1 lead here. Now, can we hold a 2-goal lead? In the playoffs last year, we definitely could not. Verana adds one for them. It's 3-2. And Matvei Michkov adds one for them as well, and now we have a tie game. For whatever reason, this team can just not hold a lead. Groshev does add one, 4-3 us on the power play. Can we hold this 1-goal lead? And we actually do. So we do beat the Flyers by a score of 4-3. Let's see. So we sit 14 and 17. Obviously not where you want to sit, especially as a team like us who is supposed to be more of a contender to champion. Being more in the basement of our division in the NHL is not a great place to be. Throw Allenfelt in there for a game or two. Let's see what he can do. As we do beat the Rangers, so now we do have actually 3 straight wins here. We really need a long streak here if we want to get back into it, get more into the mix, as we are still sitting at the bottom of the division, which is not great. But yeah, we might end up having to be sellers at the deadline. I'm not too sure. We do have some pieces we can move, guys like Zucker, guys like Corey Perry, obviously Savard if anyone wants them. But yeah, I don't know, maybe it's time to finally make some more drastic changes to this roster and kind of shake it up. I don't know, we'll have to, I guess, see a little bit closer to the deadline, see kind of where we're at, but as we are sitting again at 500 at 19-19-0. Going back above 500, 2019. So, last game here, this simulation. Let's jump into it here against the Detroit Red Wings. Why not? First period, Detroit goes up 1-0. Marco Kasper for them. 3-1 for the Wings. Walker, Cirelli, and Chibrikov. Let's see if we can come back here in this third period. See if we have any guys that actually want to step up and add to the scoring. Jason Zucker. Heard us trying to maybe ship him off at the deadline here. Adds a goal. Does anyone else have one here? Can we tie this thing up late? And we do not. The Red Wings do hold on to win 3-2 here. So it's not ideal. We sit 20-20-1 here halfway through the season. Let's take a look at the stats here again before we end the video. It's definitely not great overall. I think we're going to have to make some more changes here for sure. Below a point per game now, that's not great. Kovalenko, -18. I think we might be done with him now too. That's absolutely horrible. Finley only has 2 goals. He hasn't scored since like the first 10 of the season, so I think we're done with him as well. A lot of guys just not really working out here, unfortunately. Vassy's been horrible, unfortunately. Same with Allenfelt. AHL wise, nothing too special here, nothing standing out. But yeah, I don't know. Edmonds has actually looked alright in the AHL, minus 15 though in 15 games. I don't know what's going on there. Let's make a couple of roster moves before ending this video. We'll get everything set up for the next one. So I want to call up Kurt Douglas here. He's going to be basically the Finley replacement, big fourth line center, and I also want to call up top prospect Isaac Howard. He is going to be making his NHL debut in the next episode. We'll see if we have anything there. Again, we're just kind of trying out a lot of these younger guys, seeing where they can kind of be plugged in the lineup, see where they're getting success and all that. Obviously, we tried that with Morella, Groshev, Kovalenko, Edmonds, and now Howard, so we're kind of just going through the rotating cast, seeing who's working out and who's not, so he will be the next one up in line, and hopefully he is ready to take that step to the NHL. But yeah, overall AHL looking good, sending those guys down. But we need better in the second half for sure if we want to make a run at it at all. But I think that is going to do it for today's episode. In the next one, we will be going over the second half of the season. Who knows, we might be selling at the deadline. You'll have to wait and see. But until then, I will see you all in the next episode.